Hi, Emma Whiteman, Stockbridge osteopath. I'm out for a walk, and as I'm walking, I'm thinking a little bit about the pros and cons of walking outside versus the walking or running on a treadmill. The pros of walking on a treadmill are the convenience, really, being able to fit it in with the rest of your gym session. It has a little bit of shock absorption, and you can vary the gradient and obviously the speed and really tailor your workout to being on the treadmill. For me, the pros just about stop at that point. The disadvantages of being on a treadmill is that it's a very flexion-based action to your walking and running, i.e. When you're walking or running, you tend to bend at the hips. So the hips get tight in the front because you're shortening the hip flexor muscles in order to bend in towards the treadmill. It's the belt, as the belt comes towards you, it pushes your body backwards, and in order to stop yourself falling forwards, you have to lean forwards, which creates a very unnatural action to running or walking. Whereas when you're walking or running outside, you are in effect pushing the ground away from you. So it's a more extension-based exercise, i.e. that means you're working your hamstrings, your glutes in particular, and it's a much more natural way to move. Also, the benefits of being outside is that you've got the variety of terrain. You've got all sorts of different terrain that you can be walking on, be that pavement, be that track, mud, puddles. It all creates a good, potentially unstable ground for you to walk on, which your body's got to constantly adjust to, which is great for the core. Also, being outside, you've got a little bit of wind resistance again, which is very useful for that little bit of extra effort that you're going to need to make. To create that little bit of extra effort on a treadmill, you have to raise the treadmill by 1%. You have to give yourself a little gradient. And of course, the problem with giving yourself a gradient on a treadmill is that the belt is pushing you even further forwards. You have to lean in towards the belt to compensate for the gradient. So you're increasing the flexion at the hips even further and tightening the psoas muscle, tightening up the quadriceps, and potentially causing quite a bit of stress to the hip joints and the knee joints. So really, if you're to walk around the treadmill, ideally not on a gradient, just go a little bit further. With the advent of treadmill desks, the problem with that is that, especially if you're typing, you're not using your arms as you're walking or running. And when you're not using your arms, you're not getting that nice rotation through the upper body. And that rotation is very important for the stability of the lower back. So there is a lot more pressure going through the lower back without the arm movement. And people tend to find with the treadmill desks, they find it very difficult to actually concentrate on their work or to effectively type. They're only able to do moderate tasks. So rather than using a walking desk or treadmill desk, I would rather recommend that you try using a standing desk and having perhaps different height stations that you can work from. So conventional sitting, perhaps a little station where you can get down on the floor, work at a coffee height table desk, and then back up again to full standing. Sometimes these transitions can take a little while to get used to, but it's really important to try and incorporate a little bit more movement into your day, especially if you're very desk bound. And of course, get yourself outside if you're walking and you're running. Enjoy enjoy the outside and all the positive benefits of walking or running outside can bring.